All right. Welcome into another episode of the Man Bunkbed Podcast, a Fantasy Football Advice Network podcast. I'm your host at the Zach Bradley on Twitter. Of course, I've got my second bunk here, Nolan Wilson, aka
What's up?
Squirtle.
Hello.
We're two bunking it tonight. Of course, we've got Josh is out with some family stuff, and Cole can't get past baby bedtime. So it's
He's gonna have to figure it out one of these days, man.
Yeah, we'll just
at this rate. It's 4 weeks. He's our IR boy this week.
Oh yeah, he's all. That's all like
he
that.
He is IR at this point.
Yeah, but we've had him on our roster the whole time. We should have just put him on there and found another one. So, all right. Well, look, thanks for joining us again. Check us out on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. Check us out on Spotify. Check us out on YouTube. Let's jump into it. Before we really move into the football stuff, I just want to give the NBA season a shout out. We're here, okay? We're here for NBA season. Okay?
1 week away.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We're rounding out our NBA preseason. For those of you who listen, we're a Memphis-based podcast, and we are big Grizzlies fans. So throughout the upcoming shows, I'm sure we'll talk a little bit of Grizzlies. Okay,
it's going to be brought up, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're gonna keep this.
Just bear with us when it happens.
95% fantasy football oriented.
Right.
But can't not talk about our hometown Grizzlies.
If you don't like it, there's a fast forward button for that. It's all right.
That's right. Right. That's fair. Also, I guess we're gonna be taking continued third bunk auditions.
Oh yeah, God. At this point, we gotta hold open tryouts or something.
Yeah, I mean, what we'll do, we can always call Mark Wahlberg.
We gotta
on that.
Yep.
No, I think it's time. I think it's time we organize, we unionize, we get a calendar, and we're just gonna start booking people. Okay,
yep.
And then we'll just rotate.
Submit your name. We'll put you on a date.
That's right. Anybody, and I mean anybody, can be on the Man Bunkbed Podcast.
We're not picky.
The podcast where normal dudes talk about fantasy football for a little while. Okay,
we're not experts. We accept that.
That's right. And the screen keeps eating my face over here anyway.
I don't know why. It didn't do it one time during the warm up, but here we are.
Yeah, well, maybe I wasn't talking in the warm up, Nolan.
There it is.
That's got to be what it is. So.
Oh, that must be a sign.
All right. Well, look, we are every bit of we're every bit of 6 weeks through the NFL season, going into week 7. My Saints, we'll flip it around for a second. My Saints are going to play tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football. So we're playing the Jaguars. It's a get right game, meaning if they can't sort out their offense this game, it's probably it for the season, right? Like they could probably wrap it up. It's sad that for the Saints, this is probably like the hardest team they're going to play all year. Like their schedule's that soft.
Is it really? I haven't looked at y'all's full season schedule. Is it really that bad?
Dude. We had the road to the Super Bowl, and and we can't do it.
Kicked it away.
As a matter of fact, I kind of want to pull it up real quick during our cold open here, so I can tell you exactly what it looks like. Because it's Let me go. Let's go Saints. Let's go schedule.
Y'all don't play a tough team for 5 more weeks when you play the Lions.
Yeah, and then
smooth sailing after that. That's your only hard game.
I have to tell you, dude, this is a soft
oh
schedule.
My God, you weren't kidding, were you? Holy
no, dude, it's soft, and we are
especially with the injuries that have happened that I'm sure we're going to talk about here in a minute.
Yeah,
the next few weeks are going to be cakewalks.
We are 3 for 3. Okay, we are 500 on this schedule so far.
That's crazy.
Now, our losses have been, when I look at the 6 teams that we played, our losses are against the better of the 3, right? Like, we beat Tennessee, Carolina, and New England, but we lost to Green Bay. That was one of Jordan Love's better games.
Are we calling them good? But
better teams. I said the better of those teams.
It's all subjective. Got it.
Yeah.
Who's the quarterback on the next one? Say it.
We lost to Baker.
The boy. We love him here.
And the Tampa Bay, and then we lost to C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud, who I will eat crow on that one, has actually looked like the best rookie quarterback so far this year. Right? And I was shitting on him preseason, but I have been proved wrong.
I was gonna say rookie of the year, but it's probably Bijan, right?
And then it's got to be Bijan, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Nothing against you, C.J. Stroud. It's just Bijan's insane, and the Falcons have innovated camera angles to get the top part of running backs, and that's it's nuts. every team should be able to.
God, it could have been Christian Gonzalez. He was en route to do it till he got hurt.
Well, poor guy.
Yeah, no.
That's okay. He's going to get to be paired up with like a top 5 pick next year, and because the Patriots suck. So
because they need to spend it on a quarterback.
Enough about my Saints. All right.
Anyways,
so look, we figured coming into this episode that if we were going to cover anything, we were going to cover 2 things, right? So our subject matter for this episode, we're just going to kind of walk through it, is we're going to talk about as many injuries as possible that could be impacting of your lineup and potential plug-in replacements. In some cases, it's just going to be like, hey, leave that position alone on that team. Like if your quarterback on that team is hurt, maybe you don't go with the second-string quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Or running backs, receivers, that kind of thing. And the second piece is we're going to talk about bye weeks. We got 6 teams on bye weeks and a bunch of good players on those teams, like top 10 guys. So let's jump into some of the injuries, Nolan. Let's do this. Let's be organized here.
Yeah.
Let's go position by position so that it seems like we know.
Start at the top, go down.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that.
All right. The easy way. It's quarterbacks. Okay. A lot of injuries this week too. Weirdly. So there's 4, 5 starting quarterbacks that aren't playing this week. Jimmy G's probably out. Deshaun Watson's probably out with his undisclosed rotor cuff. Did you see his quote today where he's like, I could be out 2 days. I could be out a week. I could be out all year.
This dude's making it up.
Fuck. I hate him so much, man.
I'm so glad the Browns gave him a fully guaranteed contract. I mean, they
just so they can rue the day, because for doing that, they deserve it.
Do we think like the NFLPA is like high-fiving Deshaun Watson for solving this? Because
he may be ruining it for him, though, because I don't know if they do it again,
That's what I mean.
None of the other quarterback signings have been guaranteed that have been.
So you're right, not the PA, but the owners. The owners are like, appreciate you.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks for.
You really fixed this for us.
Maybe. Solid maybe.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones out, neck injury.
Okay.
6-foot neck. Justin Fields out. And then Anthony Richardson put on IR. And there was a maybe. Trevor Lawrence may be out.
Yikes. That's not including bye weeks, right?
That's not including bye weeks. It's not saying anything about the bye week quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence with a knee injury.
Okay.
But then if you just look at bye weeks too, Joey Burr is out. Dak's out. Tannehill's hurt, but God, we don't trust anybody on that Titans team. If you're starting a player on the Titans team that's not, I guess even maybe including Derrick Henry, it's a bad look for you.
Yeah.
Wilson's out. Who cares? Bryce is out. It's sad, but who cares?
Yeah.
And then the one rookie that matters, CJ Stroud.
Yep. Okay.
But yeah, if you're looking at any of the backups for the guys too, just steer clear altogether. You've got a couple rookies that are going to be going. You got some dog issues.
Oh, dude, I'm literally, guys. If y'all hear this noise behind me, he's digging for gold. Okay. Sorry.
So who's starting after Justin Fields? Was it Badgett? Who's your guy?
That's our arm wrestling champion son. Yeah.
You have been talking about that guy since wanting to give him a chance.
This is his dad.
How did he do last week, by the way?
Very limited action. Let's see. He had 5.72 points in his first start.
I mean, 10 for 14, solid. 10 for 14 and a pick's not great, but
nah. A pick. He had two rushes for 4 yards and a rushing touchdown. Okay,
look, I'm just saying.
So there's going to be some rushing
quarterback.
Upside. Can we say, is that enough of a sample size for rushing upside?
The percentage is great.
Yeah, that's right.
The running quarterback came in after Justin Fields.
Basically, and I'm just extrapolating from the data here, Tyson Badgett scores on 50% of his rushes. It's what's out there.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
Yeah, totally that. That's what we're going with.
Yeah.
We're going to have another rookie, Aiden O'Connell, probably playing for the Raiders this week.
And hopefully he doesn't get sacked 6 times. And
yeah, right.
And show that he's good.
Do you think the Giants are giving it to Tyrod again?
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. I saw they were brought in a couple guys for workouts this week. It was McCoy and somebody, right?
I think that's more an indictment on the longevity of Daniel Jones's injury more so than Tyrod. Like
bringing in an actual backup for your backup.
Yeah, I think he's 3 years in the system, and so I think they're going to let him play. Like they're not winning. Like I think they're almost already on the we're not going to win many games list, right. And so it's probably just like how do we look competent?
Makes sense.
And just bring those guys in. So
you cannot let Gardner Minshew throw 55 times again if you're the Colts, though.
Yeah, not with Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss. I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah, you have two excellent running backs in your backfield. Why is that man throwing 55 times? Like, at halftime, they came out and just started chucking it. Like, you can't give up on your game plan at halftime. It's just too early for it.
Yeah, agreed.
And fingers crossed T-Law plays. Because I don't even know who their backup is.
So if we're streaming some quarterbacks, I guess some guys – so it's hard to figure on streaming quarterbacks because you're not necessarily going to be picking second stringers. Like Tyson Bagent is not a player that you can go play.
None of those backups you're comfortable playing.
Yeah, like maybe Gardner in a super flex league or like –
that's a big maybe if it's a super deep like 14-team league or something.
Yeah. So I guess guys that I would look at that were maybe sitting on your bench or maybe were gone for the bye week. Like you could stream Jordan Love this week. It's Denver. We've talked about those get-right games. They made Justin Fields look like Patrick Mahomes for a week.
Yep.
So I'd probably look at Jordan Love. You could potentially look at Josh Dobbs for one more week against Seattle.
Yeah, they brought Kyler back off IR today. I'm sure they're not going to play him this soon after taking him on IR. That would just be insane. But
well, they're clearly tied to losing.
They're tanking, so it's fine. They're probably just going to let him sit as much as possible because they want to lose games.
Yeah, I mean they're doing a lot better job of being scrappy in their games, but they're not. They're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, you got like the Kenny Pickett's of the world. Also, if you're super desperate,
I don't think we're super desperate. Okay, and we're going to get to it a little bit, but Kenny Pickett's team is getting healthy at the right time. And so, might be a time to give Kenny Pickett a shot.
Just a little sneak peek preview what you're going to talk about?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, no, we'll get into that. But, yeah, I would look at Jordan Love. I would look at Kenny Pickett. I would look at Josh Dobbs again just to kind of get you through this heavy injury, heavy bye week.
Get through the week, man.
Yeah, and move on to that. So, okay. All right, let's jump into running backs a little bit. So, we had a bunch of injuries, and, of course, we got a bunch of bye weeks. So, if we go bye weeks first – no Joe Mixon this week. No Tony Pollard. No Derrick Henry or Tajay, who are both fantasy relevant.
I've actually played Tajay in a couple leagues. It didn't go well, but it's
happened.
Don't feel ashamed. We were desperate.
Yeah, it's okay. No Brees, right when he was like kind of ascending.
As he's coming into it. This honestly may be the best thing for Brees to have this bye week this week. Just for that one little bit before the rest of the year stretch,
Yeah. No Carolina backfield. Who cares right now?
Who gives?
Yeah, who cares? And then in the interesting Houston backfield, where Devin Singletary is getting almost 50%, or maybe a little bit over the 50% line shares on that backfield, where I think they're clearly I think they're kind of getting a little cool on Dameon Pierce.
I don't blame them. I am also, but I have Devin Singletary in so many stinking leagues. But, this has not been the year for anything to come of that. Let's look at last week. Let's pull it up. If my computer wanted to be a little quicker.
Well,
Never mind, move on. My computer's shit.
Performance issues, it happens to everybody. It's fine. Okay, so that's our bye week, guys. Let's jump into some of the injury running backs. Zach Charbonnet, hamstring. He didn't practice today. So these are the updates as far as we have them today, right? So if we get some chatter on here that we got something wrong, if you check it tomorrow – and the injury status changed, that's not on us, okay? We recorded this episode Wednesday, October 18th. Okay, Charbonnet with a hamstring injury, which, if you were hoping to be able to play him, give that up because, he was very limited, or not limited, he didn't practice, and Kenneth Walker is smooth sailing right now. So
on top of a couple other that we're going to get to in the next little part, they've got some wide receiver injuries. So Kenneth Walker stocks all the way up this week.
Yeah. And probably fading Geno on this one. Because they got some guys hurt. We're going to get to that. Aaron Jones officially limited, and he's been struggling with this for the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it last episode where I got burned by Aaron Jones, putting him in a lineup in a way that I couldn't sub him out if I needed to. And he's still not logging full practices yet. So, look, be cautious with this one, like really cautious. If you have A.J. Dillon, plug him in. He doesn't have an injury designation. Or maybe stay away from that.
Stay away from that.
AJ Green Bay backfield right now. If Aaron Jones isn't playing, it's probably not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
This one's like a up news. Jeff Wilson opened their 21-day window for him to come back.
Mm-hmm.
If he gets to play this week, it's going to affect Raheem Mostert. Now, Mostert will probably still be fantasy relevant.
Yeah.
But all of you people who thought like this was your week for Salvon Ahmed or anything like that, give that up. It's going to be the Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert show.
I've held on to Salvon Ahmed for 3 years in a Dynasty League, and I just...
It's time.
Every time I get hopes, they get crushed like this.
That's right. Ronnie Rivers, for you fantasy truthers who knew that name, Ronnie Rivers was placed on IR. So, Nolan, who do the Rams have left at running back? I mean,
so, with Kyron not playing and Ronnie Rivers now on IR, it's the boy, if you listened to us earlier, based in Memphis, the boy Darrell Henderson's back.
Darrell Henderson.
They signed him this week.
He was good. He knows the scheme. Like he'll literally come in and log snaps. Like
they also signed Royce Freeman.
So
I don't care. Darrell Henderson.
So let me ask you this. So Darrell Henderson's back, but Zach Evans has been there and practicing. Do we think Zach Evans has the edge? Like, are we claiming him on waivers?
I don't. Darrell Henderson's been in this offense for 3 years. Also, with them signing 2 more running backs, Royce Freeman, they signed to the active roster. Darrell Henderson, they signed to the practice squad. He's probably going to be moved up tomorrow anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I feel like that shows the opposite of what you wanted to see. I don't know.
Yep.
He is also a rookie this year, but I don't know. I'm more leaning towards they'll probably play Darrell Henderson most.
And it's against the Steelers, so like if they get up, it won't matter. They're just going to put a dude out there.
Right.
But if they're in a game, like we'll probably learn a lot about where these guys stand. Through that. So okay.
Also, real quick before we move on, because I love this and I love him. Do you know who holds the NCAA record for yards per carry for a season?
Is it Darrell Henderson?
It's Darrell Henderson.
Let's go.
Wild stat. It was like 8.9 or something wild like that. Yards per carry.
I'll tell you a wild stat I heard today. This is not, unless you're an IDPer on fantasy football, it's not important to you.
Not me.
But another Memphis alum, Bryce Huff, is actually leading the NFL in pressure rate for the Jets. So he's above, number one, he's above Micah, he's above Myles Garrett, he's above all those guys. And they're just using it. Gabe Kuhn was talking, shout out to the Gabe Kuhn show, was talking about him today. They're only using him like in third down, obvious passing situations, but he is ultra successful in those, like super successful. So that's the kind of thing that you get like to kind of catapult you into next contract level and
get you more looks too. That'll actually, if you're looking good on your few looks, hey man, make your money.
Yeah. Well, you can't tell me if you are a positional starter in a way that like you're in there for very specific things rather than just all the time.
Yep.
For money wise, rushing the passer has to be the best one.
It's got to be one of them.
It's got to be the number one thing to get paid for.
Yep.
Not that third down corner or a tight end covering linebacker. It's got to be a pass rusher.
Also, it's a very good way to stay in the league for a long time.
Yeah.
You're not getting a lot of like field time, so you're not getting hurt, but you're the best at your niche thing. They'll keep you around for a long time just for that.
Yeah. So shout out another Memphis.
Shout out Memphis boys. Love them.
All right. Next up, Ramondre Stevenson listed as limited. It's an ankle thing. He's kind of been messing with this for a couple of weeks. It's not a big deal. As long as he doesn't have an injury designation going into the weekend, he's probably going to be a full go. Now, if he does have that injury designation, Zeke
is looking great. Yep.
Yeah. So just watch that. Like Ramondre is the starter. I don't think
Zeke is already getting solid looks even without that injury, right?
Yeah. Well, I just think he's been fighting that. But Ramondre's the guy. But just watch your injury reports on it.
Yeah.
Next up, let's talk Lions. Monty Ribs doesn't practice. No IR yet, right? So they're
no, he didn't. So I think he started practicing again. He's coming back off that injury. He didn't play last week. Okay. But the bigger news is that Monty didn't practice, and Craig Reynolds didn't practice.
Yikes!
So that backfield is all messed up. They're all broken Gibbs, right now.
Gibbs was limited, so like no healthy options at running back. Like who was that last time this happened for the Lions? Zach Zenner. We're gonna call Zach Zenner and bring him out of retirement, I'm sure, and see if he can come in and help with that. So that's rough. Watch your Lions running backs.
Yep.
Honestly, I would imagine that they're going to err with caution on, like, Monty will not play. I'm almost certain.
Definitely not.
Jahmyr Gibbs, if he's healthy, then it's not going to be full workload kind of stuff because he's been struggling. I think if Craig Reynolds suits up, he's been in the scheme longer. I think it's his second or third year on that. So he's probably going to catch, like, the early down work, the blocking, stuff like that. You might see Jahmyr in on, like, passing downs if he plays. I'd probably fade in the Lions running backs group this week. Let's see who we're playing on that one. Baltimore. At Baltimore? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
probably leave that one alone. Okay. Let's keep moving. Saquon Barkley, limited in practice. It shouldn't cause concern. He's been limited participant, like, exclusively for weeks. So, that's fine. I think that could just as much be a workload management thing, and they don't really have a way to say that on an injury report. They'll just put limited, so, like, that's fine. Jamal Williams for the Saints got his IR window opened. He is questionable to play, but it's a short week, so I wouldn't put much on that.
Also, with Kamara back full go, I'm just off it.
Yeah, Kamara's back. So, in those super deep leagues or in your upcoming bye weeks, next week he might be worth a stream or the week after, but this week we're still fading him. All right, let's do Browns.
Yeah, I think this might be the last big one as running backs go, is the Browns.
Yeah.
Kareem
Hunt.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no. Kareem Hunt not practicing. It's a thigh thing. Jerome Ford completely healthy. So pretty clear here. The workload was starting to kind of err closer to a 50-50 split. And then Kareem Hunt struggling in practice health-wise. So plug Jerome Ford right back in.
Yep. And then also Roschon Johnson didn't get out of concussion protocol today.
Ouch.
Another big hit leaning towards the Ford stocks.
So, yeah. Okay. All right. So that's our running backs. Look, there's a million running backs in the NFL. We can actually cover running backs for like another 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But we covered the ones we need to.
Longer than that. Let's be real. We could have done a whole podcast just on running backs.
And here at 3
we tend to always do
how much we love covering running backs. Yep. Okay. Call it old-fashioned. That's kind of what it is. We overvalue the position.
We do, still. Yeah. We've been playing this thing so fucking long that we just can't help it. It's built into us.
Yeah. All right, let's do receivers, Nolan. You wanna start?
All right, let me get going a little bit. Devontae Adams listed as limited Wednesday with Jimmy G out and Aiden O'Connell probably going to be the quarterback this week. I'm probably steering clear. You're going to play him just because it's Devontae, but I'm not expecting a whole lot. The Seahawks receiving core is what I'm most worried about this week. So you got Sharps out, who catches a lot of balls for them, but then you've also got Lockett limited, and then DK did not practice today.
So Jackson Smith and Jigba?
Maybe. Is it finally the breakout week? Because everybody's been waiting for it, man.
Yeah, I think DK stuff is. I think he's had it, so it's probably just managing it. He played last week with the same thing, but you'll want to watch it. That it's the kind of it's the little injuries like that re-aggravate, and then they all of a sudden can't play. Like they're not warming up.
Yep. Also, somebody that plays as explosive as he does, that if you've got a little nagging thing, it just takes so much away from his game.
Plus, let me see. I'm a DK Metcalf hater because I'm upset with the potential he has and how much he doesn't do with it. But let me see.
He let us all down.
Yeah, let me see before I really talk smack how good he's been this year, and then I'll tell you. Let's see. He's wide receiver 36. That's right about where I think, I I mean, that's probably pretty good for him, actually. Let's see. History. No. That's bad for him.
You're such a hater.
Dude, I can't.
God, you hate him so much.
Dude, he's 6'4", 235, runs a 4.4, and he kind of stinks, Nolan. He kind of stinks. You know what I mean? We've seen people with the same attributes be far more successful. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so Jackson Smith and Jigba. Maybe it's your week, dude.
Maybe it's the time. The next couple ones are some happy ones.
Let's go.
Zach's favorite player. I don't care what he says. He talks about this guy more than anybody I've ever met. Zach is the biggest Deontay Johnson lover.
Let's go.
Loves him for years and years. It's just the possessions, man. He doesn't drop balls. He can get open pretty good. He doesn't do crazy yards or anything. He just has the hands. If
he ever works on
makes a touchdown, gets in the end zone.
This dude, last 3 years, 144 targets, 169 targets, 147 targets. Yeah. What's not to love, Nolan? Okay,
he doesn't catch touchdowns.
You're just accidentally.
He needs a damn touchdown.
The year before, he had 8 touchdowns, and he was wide receiver 8. Okay, so he's just got to get the hand on the ball more in the red zone.
Yep.
Right, the work's there.
Yeah,
it just needs to happen. Okay.
I don't think Kenny Pickett's going to be able to do it, but that's just me.
Anyways,
but hey, he was a full participant today. Shout out.
Deontay trying to play back in week 7. I'm starting him. Promise you, I'm starting him.
The next one is one of my biggest homer picks, Christian Watson. Loving him to death. Probably one of the more explosive guys in the league when he's not got those nagging injuries. He's dealt with it his 2 years, man.
This is the guy who had 7 touchdowns in the second half of the season last year. Nolan, guess who he's got this week?
4 games. 7 touchdowns in 4 games.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's filthy. So guess who he's got this week?
Who's that? Tell me.
He's got the freaking Broncos.
Oh, my God. He could do it, man. Is this the week?
He's going to get 7 touchdowns this game. Okay.
I want my 60-yard touchdown. But yeah, completely off injury report. Cleared. Nice. Let's go.
Okay. Don't you dare say anything about Claypool. Skip right over.
I'm skipping right over.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, God. The most irrelevant. He had, not even one good season, but he has the biggest head in the league.
Yeah. He literally says he's top 5 receiver.
For those of y'all that keep up with me, sorry when I have to type. I know it's loud. My bad. I have a...
Yeah, his best season ever was his rookie year, and it was wide receiver 24.
Yeah, and he's done nothing but get worse every year.
Trash. And it's only because he had 9 touchdowns. The rest of his stats were kind of average.
Yep. So, but on top of the... Gardner Minshew does not need to throw 55 times in one game. Alec Pierce doesn't practice today. Deep threat gone. Josh Downs stocks, though.
Jonathan Taylor week. I think it's Jonathan Taylor week.
You think so? Giving it back to the running backs, not get away from it?
I can see it. 48 million reasons to give him some work this week. Okay, that's
finally. Me. He's had 2 warm-up weeks. Give him the full week now. Zach Moss has been good, but we've seen the history. He's not going to be the win you a game kind of fellow.
No,
JT is. He is, in fact, going to be able to win you a game.
Former league leading rusher. Okay.
Sad about this one. Been high on him for the past 2 years, trying to get him everywhere. Devontae Smith, non-participant today also.
Let's see, surprise edition. It's just a hamstring.
Yeah. It feels like half of the injuries in the league are hamstrings. So.
It's just another one of those. I'd probably do just injury designation going into Friday, Saturday. Watch out.
Hey man, they brought in Julio too, though.
Yeah,
maybe Julio's here to replace him because his hamstring.
This cat got on a press conference, not a press conference, it was a locker room interview, and the reporter was like, "Hey, how are you going to adjust to being a Hall of Fame receiver into a know your role kind of receiver?" And he went, "Oh, make no mistake, I plan to dominate." Went, come on, Julio. Don't be like that.
Don't be that guy.
For those of you out there, let's see, he's trending. I want to see what he's trending so I can talk smack.
I don't want to even know why he's trending.
363,000 of you added him. You're filthy. Okay.
Awful.
And
awful.
You need to
get out of here.
You need to be better. You
didn't even know he was on the Bucks, and you added him. For all you people, did you know he played on the Bucks last year?
Yeah.
I didn't until today when somebody mentioned it.
So
I didn't even think he was in the league.
I'm trying to tell you right now, if he gets more than 10 points a game for any game remaining in the season, I'll be surprised. Okay, he's just they're gonna sell some tickets because Julio's there.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So we're out on that. Okay.
Who else is there? Amari Cooper. It was just a rest day. It's no big deal. I don't trust anybody in New England. We're skipping over Juju. Demario Douglas, still sad. Still in concussion protocol. I had high hopes for him this year.
Ooh, what about it's not an injury. Let's shout out Mecole Hardman.
Shout out. Trade it back. Going home for Christmas. No big deal.
Wide receiver 1, Mecole?
Oh, no.
Nah,
Shut up.
Yeah,
get out of here. I'm over it. Don't say that.
Yeah. So it's worthless, right?
Yeah.
Like until we see something different, it's still the Rashee Rice show.
Yeah. I feel like a big one as fantasy goes is Zay Jones is out for week 7. He is the second deep threat for Jacksonville. He spreads the field so much for them, gets people off Calvin Ridley, and opens up a lot of space for Christian Kirk. But with him not there, it's just those are some significant touches that are going to go towards Ridley and Kirk. I think this is another Christian Kirk big week, man. I see big week coming.
I worry, Nolan, and it has nothing to do with
Oh my God, whatever.
But they're playing the Saints, bro.
So that is the one worry when you have a QB who has a hip injury.
Yeah.
He's not mobile. He's not going to be able to move a pocket how he normally would. So that's the big worry.
Their new number 1 receiver, the Saints have plenty of experience with. Mm-hmm. We have played Calvin Ridley. So you're right. It might be a Kirk week. Because Ridley gets Marshawn Lattimore all day.
Yep.
And that's a tough draw for anybody. Non-biased.
Yep. I think that's the last injury that's even worth talking about for receivers.
Yep. We'll jump into tight ends quickly, because the position on a whole is just kind of more good news for the Steelers. Freiermuth, the Muth, full participant Wednesday.
Yep.
Going to play this week.
Shout out. Got him in a lot of leagues. Glad that's happening.
Yeah. A lot of underdog drafts with Freiermuth. Okay. We need him to have a touchdown this week. That'd be great. Dulcich, reactivated, gets 1 catch, re-aggravates his hamstring. Did not practice today.
It doesn't matter. We knew this was going to happen with Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Troutman's one of his boys. We knew Troutman was going to become the tight end 1 on that team as soon as he got traded there.
Yep. For those of you who care, both Bills tight ends, full practice. Doesn't really matter much fantasy-wise. It's the Stephon Diggs show here.
Yeah.
Dallas Goedert, limited at practice. It's a groin injury. He should be good to go. Just pay attention to it. Hunter Henry did not practice today. He's been better this week. You're going to want to keep tabs on him, but he's up against Buffalo anyways, and this team is bad. So while he has been good, the team is bad, and he's nursing an injury. So I'd probably fade him if you can. Our boy, number 1 tight end in fantasy football, Sam Laporta.
Shout out.
Huge win on that one. Limited today for practice.
He played through the same injury last week. He'll play again.
Dude's tough, ain't he? I mean, he's out here.
Oh my God, get off him.
I'm just saying, man. He's like he was
my
built
God,
to be in Detroit, dude. He's just there. That's it for tight ends. There's not too much left in there. So, all right. Cool. So, look, that's your bye weeks. That's your injuries. That's a lot to look out for. If you're on waivers, there's a bunch of those kind of second-tier, really third-tier running backs that should be claimable. Your Zach Evans or Darrell Hendersons. For 49ers, your Jordan Mason or Elijah Mitchell, depending on who you think is going to get that. If nobody snagged up Deontay Foreman somehow last week, he's literally the only healthy Bears running back. So float the waivers. There's a bunch of guys out there this week. And as we've just eloquently covered for the last 34-ish minutes, tons of injuries that you got to look out for. So we are full on into this. But cool, Nolan.
Right on.
All the injuries. It's all the bye weeks. I mean, that's enough. That's enough research for the people to get out there and get their work done.
Yeah, go do some homework now.
All right, look, we appreciate you again. My name's Zach. That's Nolan. This is the Man Bunkbed Podcast, a podcast on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. And we appreciate you guys. We will see y'all next week.
Peace. Thanks, guys.